Everything's gone, yeah. The back side's already caved in.
Wow. Okay, we're ready.
Okay.
All right, so you know the drill.
Sure.
Please say and spell first and last name and your title for us.
It's Tim Szymanski, SZYMANSKI, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue.
All right, so tell me what happened or what is happening here tonight.
So this is the vacant Silverstone Country Club clubhouse. We received a 911 call at 12:30 that the building was on fire. When we got here, there was heavy fire on the back side of the building. It got up into the area, up into the top. We were worried about possible collapse, so we didn't put any firefighters from the inside. We had to fight this fire from the outside. It's pretty stubborn. Again, there was always the fear. We've had 2 previous fires here, so we didn't know what the integrity of the building was. We didn't want to risk any firefighters' lives going inside there, so we stayed on the defensive mode. It did spread throughout the rest of the building because we are fighting it from the outside. Generally, when we have a building fire, we go into the inside where the base of the fire is. But because of the potential for collapse, we didn't want to risk anybody's life. We could see through the inside there. It didn't appear there was anybody inside the building. So we just fought it defensively. It's coming up on 6 o'clock. We're still here. We've got it surrounded. It's not going to spread to anything. Cause of the fire will not be determined until the fire is completely out. It's pretty well destroyed at this point after 6 hours of trying to put it out.
So a lot of neighbors were talking about issues with squatters at this location. Those previous fires, were those caused by squatters, or do you recall?
We don't know. I'd have to go back and look up the records and that, but there is some evidence that there's possibly some squatters in here. We also heard that it was frequented by kids from the area because there's a big parking lot here. They'd hang out. We don't know. At this point, all that we're concerned about is to put the fire out.
Definitely. So that appears to be, like you said, the strategy, kind of just making sure it doesn't spread at this point, right, as it kind of burns down?
Well, we're trying to keep it under control. It's not going to go anywhere. It's all vacant all the way around. It's just a lot. But we're still putting water on it. We'd like to put it out. We've got a lot of water going on it, but it's still burning.
And I know in terms of, like you said, you don't know for sure if this was a squatter situation that started this, but I personally have covered a lot of fires in Las Vegas that were started by fires. That is a pretty relevant issue, right, in vacant buildings?
Yeah, lately here in the city, we've been pretty fortunate. We've not had a lot of them lately. This is actually the first big fire that we've had in quite a while. And so, again, a lot of squatter fires, again, are not intentional. They're accidental, either due to smoking or cooking or something along that nature. At this fire, we really don't have any idea of what started this fire.
Do you have an estimated damage amount?
Not now. We were talking about it. It's going to be a total loss. I will have to talk to the investigators on it.
Figured it's too early. Anything else?
No, nobody's hurt, and that's the main thing. That's our main objective, is to make sure that nobody gets hurt. There is nothing here worth anybody getting hurt over or killed. We've got that taken care of, and now we're just going to stay here until it's completely out. And we're probably going to be here till daybreak at least.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Is this good practice for some of your younger guys on staff?
Not really, because all we're doing is just lobbing a lot of water onto it right now. As you can see, we got pretty well everybody back away from the building, because we're afraid that what holds the walls up is the roof. And as you can see, the roof is deteriorated, it's going to go. So we want to make sure that everybody is outside the collapse zone, because that's what kills a lot of firefighters, is the building coming down.
Yeah.
It's silent, you don't know. It's not worth it. We haven't lost anything right now in the way of injuries or fatalities. We don't want to go there, so we're keeping everybody back. And we're just lobbing water from what we call master streams, the ground streams and the ladder trucks, because we don't want any firefighters close to that building.
Absolutely.
And do you fight a vacant fire differently than you fight an occupied structure, or is it all the same?
No, usually in the smaller buildings, we'll change operations. We'll go from defensive to what we call offensive, where we're going to go in there and get to the seat of the fire. We want to be in charge of it. but we were never able to get to that point here. This fire was always in charge, and we went on the defense, and that means we didn't want it to get out and around out of the area, and we didn't want to risk anybody's life at the same time.
Do you know if they had utilities, power, gas, anything like that, or is that all shut off?
No, all the utilities are off to the building.
Okay.
I mean, that's got to give you an indication right there. I mean, if there's no utilities in there, does that steer your investigators towards one way or the other, or no?
Well, I mean, we're going to rule out utilities, and then let's just say that squatters were in a building, and let's just say that we caught up with a squatter. When you have arson, you have to prove intent, which means that they intentionally wanted to burn down the building. But let's just say they were in the building and they admit it, and they says, well, I was cooking a steak, or I fell asleep in my sleeping bag, caught fire because I was smoking. They weren't intentionally trying to burn the building down. So many times people will ask, well, why didn't you charge that person with arson? It's because they didn't intentionally try to burn the building down. Worst case scenario is you could charge them with trespass because they don't have permission to be there. And then that's something that they have to work out with the people that own the building. But you have to have intent, and we have to be able to prove it that there is intent. Even if they come up and tell us that they did it, we have to find that evidence.
That makes sense. Is it starting?
I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Tim.
Okay.
All right, man.
And I've got this on our Facebook Live.
Awesome.